Hi folks, got a lot of things I want to cover in this video. It's been a while since I've posted anything to the guild channel. Obviously I'm not outside, we're not doing fighting videos. We had some windage issues and some technical difficulties. Expect good things later. Got a couple things I want to cover in this video. The first thing I want to do is touch on something I haven't really gotten into, at least online. As part of the guild and in my previous incarnations doing things, I used to throw knives, and it was brought up in conversation. Nick, what's your favorite knife? Well, since it's been a while since I've done a product review, I wanted to bring out something I've used for years. Now, these knives are produced by Timberwolf. You can get them through our old friends Bud K. Occasionally, they'll say they're out of production or out of stock. They renew. They show up. They're wonderful knives. Now, when you buy them, you gotta give a warning. They come with this really cute rubber handle that feels great and all, and gets dorked up after the first throw. So what I recommend is taking a razor knife, just cut that handle off. These are the knives I throw. And you're saying, why, Nick? Do they come with that lovely beaten orange finish? No. I recommend, if you're going to throw knives, one thing you really want to do is get some fluorescent orange spray paint. It's cheap. Hose down all your knives. Now, these used to be pretty, but over years of throwing them, they got dinged up. I have to repaint them. Maybe if everybody's good and friendly, I'll do a video showing how to throw them. Now, a lot of people have some, small knives. I have some of them, and there's a problem with that. So we'll take this as a bit of an intro to the concept of throwing knives. When you throw a knife, there are two approaches. You can try what an advanced style people are pushing. I've seen a couple times with some very odd knives, so trench knives thrown really cool. I saw a video of that. Is to twist it. Now, in a movie, it looks like people throw the knife and it just goes straight. No, that's not how it works. Knife's a lot like a bicycle. It's flat, doesn't really stay upright. It needs a gyroscopic effect. So when you throw a knife, the knife tumbles. And the number of tumbles will tell you how far you have to be. Usually you measure it out in paces. It takes a while. This is why I like large knives. A slightly larger knife, and this guy is, I believe, 11 inches long. Like I said, it's very nice. This is a double edge. It is quite sharp. Pick these knives amongst many, many others as a starter knife because it is heavy, relative firm. It is cheap, again, relative, and it is an item of good quality. I've beat the tar out of these. I have two sets, actually, because I train people with them. I also like the fact it has a grip and a guard. Now, anybody who studies thrusting any kind of weapon will tell you if you don't have some kind of crosspiece, the most injuries that come from any knife work come from your hand impacting and sliding up the blade. And I want to tell you, both edges of these, very, 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 very sharp. You get 3 of them in a handy little case. I think mine ran me 20-something. Prices fluctuate. It's Bud K. Look for a sale, cheat codes, you know how it is. Anyhow, the larger the knife, the less tumbles, so the less likely it is to be goofy. Also, the weight keeps it on target. A lighter thrown weapon is going to flip around. I have some other ones. They're knockoff Gil Hibbins. Now, Gil Hibben makes some gorgeous knives, and I really recommend them. I've gotten to use them, but I don't own any. So I can't really do a product review, at least in justice, so I can hold one up and go, I have to borrow one from my buddy Jim. So that's the first part of the video. If people are interested, if I see comments, etc., I'll dig out the knife throwing target, and I'll do an intro to how to throw knives. It's not, strictly historical fencing, but it's a nifty thing. I will say this. Don't throw your only weapon. Throwing knives is really, really hard to do practically. It's something to do that's fun, something to do that's cool, But it is not a, oh, I'm gonna whip and take out some dude. You might got a dude, but now your knife, your weapon is way over there. We don't want that. So I'm going to really recommend you get something like this, a big knife if you're going to learn. Spray painted orange. It won't look as pretty, but you'll be able to find it in the grass, which when you throw knives, you have to have a target. And I'll go over that in another video. So knives. Go ahead, the Timberwolf. This is the TW22. They make a matching axe, which I can show you later, which is gorgeous, but I tend to like heavier ones, even though they're harder on the targets. Now, that I've done my bit of shameless pluggery, I was watching a video my good friend Swordsage put up about morality and how it affects martial arts. Kind of want to weigh in. When I started learning to sword fight, and I learned from different people with different agendas, and when I started taking up fencing, especially when I was working with the society, I met some individuals who had very ruthless methodologies. I don't believe that to be right. Some of them to the point they would teach flaws into their students. Others would teach a style that would let you win a tournament, but not necessarily be the most sane or practical applications. Essentially metagaming, the idea of if you lose an arm, let it hang and use it as a kind of human shield. This is dickery. And I think that's wrong. The other thing, and it's not so much the morality of it, although I should go into that, is the exclusion. I've known some sword masters, some people claim to be sword masters, who were very select. They believed in only taking the best and the brightest. And that does provide reliable results if your goal is to make a little cadre of students who make you look good. If that's your whole primary. My goal has never been that. My goal is to help people get to live the dream. And do so in a way that teaches something that can be used practically. I know any one of my students can pick up a broomstick and at least hold off an attacker. They may not win. They may not even survive, but they will be able to go down fighting, and that's the only way I can sleep at night. You worry about people, and you can either wake up worried about them, you can protect them all, which unfortunately I'm mortal, I'm short, I'm fat, and I'm grossly underfunded to do a protect everyone thing. So, if I train everybody I care about, I make sure that they have the means to protect themselves, I can sleep at night. Is it cheating? Yep. Is it what I do? Absolutely. My motivation. So my style that I teach my students is very basic. It's very simple. That's why I call it the simple sword. The manual's still in the works. There's a price. And I'm sorry, crossroads my mess. I believe anybody who wants to learn should be able to learn. And I believe anybody who wants to can learn something. Now you may have physical limitations. You may not be able to move as much. You may be overweight. You may be injured. You may have VVS or be blind or whatever. Okay. You have to decide if that limitation, that whatever it is, even if it's just social awkwardness, defines you. Or if you're going to define it. And if you're going to define it, you can find a way. And once you start looking for a way, I can try to help. And that's what I try to do with each and every one of my students. That's what I hope people can get from some of the videos, especially as winter comes. I'm going to be looking for an inside place to do more instructional things. Is this the end-all high-end martial arts? Not even close. You can get manuals on that. You can get videos, spend vast sums of money to get that. You can train. What I give is basic instruction, a practical, simple style that can be used in real life. That's what I'm about. I believe there's a price to that. And this is where we go back to morality. Learning how to use a sword or any weapon, a gun, a knife, an axe, staff, two-handed, one-handed, whatever, karambit, comes with a tremendous responsibility because now you know how to do great bodily harm. So you better make sure you know how to why when it's appropriate. Every possible avenue needs to be attempted before you hurt someone. When you have to defend yourself in this situation, and I say when because everybody does at some point, one form or another, you're obligated to do it quickly, efficiently, at only the minimum amount of force. Part of it, I teach always dealing with multiple attackers. You go into a fight, none of this noble one-on-one duel, because every fight I've ever been in, there's always another guy. So you can't play around with this. At the same time, escape should be priority. That's not cowardice. Unless you're protecting someone specifically, or you're defending your land, or a military action, there is no reason to stay in a dangerous situation longer than you have to. But if you have to be there, you end it. If you can do it without killing someone, then don't kill them. If you can do it with minimum damage, minimum damage. Part of it's practical, part of it's the law. That way, when the ramifications of your actions start up. The cops have got there, somebody broke into your house, what'd you do? Well, officer, I picked up a machete that was handy, and I stabbed him once. It disabled him. I told him to stop, leave. You didn't have to take his head. So I teach limits of your actions. Control your actions, or let your actions control you. So that influences my style. It influences the way I prefer to fight, which is a very defensive style. I've been accused of being an Aikido guy, which is amusing because I've never studied that. I've done bits of Tai Chi and other strangeness, but not, that. But I've been accused devoutly by, opponents. I don't know. I think maybe it's a case of multiple ways to get to the same route. Anyway, my point is, at least from my take on what Swordsage was talking about in morality introducing itself to martial arts, I believe that's the debt we pay. The responsibility for the power. Not to sound cliche, not to get all Spider-Man-y, but it's there. We have to think about our actions. You do, I do, every day. To be responsible. It ain't fun. It isn't fun. But it's necessary. It's part of leveling up as an individual. So, I'm going to bid you adieu. If people want to see more knife throwing type stuff, I will try. I'm having technical difficulties, that's why I'm running off of my happy little webcam. If you want more discussion or philosophical debate, I'm eager. And other than that, be safe, take care of each other, support your local swordmaster.